Welcome to the deep dive. We take complex topics, piles of information, and boil it all down so you get the main takeaways fast.
And today, we're looking at Alfred Hitchcock.
Right, the master of suspense. Everyone knows the name, the silhouette, the whole persona.
Exactly. And that persona, it was brilliant marketing, wasn't it? His films, Vertigo, The Birds, obviously masterpieces.
But he's also a master of buzz, building this enigmatic, kind of menacing public image.
Yeah, he blurred the lines constantly. Truth, fiction, who knew? Especially with that TV show intro he did.
Definitely. So today, we're not trying to tackle all of Hitchcock. That'd be impossible.
No, we're zooming in. We're using the film Hitchcock, the one with Anthony Hopkins and Helen Mirren, as our lens.
Right, the movie about the making of Psycho. It dives into that whole behind-the-scenes story.
And that's our mission for you today, to unpack the huge risks Hitch took with Psycho, the real cost of that obsession.
And also, really importantly, the contributions of people often left in the shadows, especially his wife, Alma Reville.
Absolutely. Her role was crucial.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's the late 50s. North by Northwest just came out.
Huge hit. Big, glossy, classic Hitchcock thriller. Just what Paramount expected more of.
Yeah, he owed them one more film contractually.
Yeah.
And they figured, okay, another North by Northwest, please. Easy money.
But Hitchcock, well, he was bored with that, wasn't he? He wanted something jarring, different.
And he finds it in this pulpy novel, Psycho.
By Robert Bloch. Yeah. And, crucially, based on a real guy, Ed Gein.
Ed Gein. That name pops up a lot in horror history.
Oh, yeah. Wisconsin, 1940s serial killer, grave robber, the whole disturbing mother fixation thing.
He inspired Leatherface, Hannibal Lecter.
Exactly. So Hitchcock, known for these, stylish suspense films, suddenly wants to make this grimy, shocking story about American darkness.
So how did Paramount take that pitch?
They were horrified. Utterly horrified.
Not just the story, right? The structure, too.
Everything. Killing off Janet Leigh, the big star, halfway through. Unheard of. And the subject matter, this killer, the mother complex, they literally called it completely unpalatable.
Box office poison.
That was the phrase, yeah. They thought it would bomb. Ruin his brand, maybe.
But Hitchcock he was Hitchcock. Didn't his track record count for anything?
You'd think so, but it was about the money and the type of film. They wanted prestige, technicolor. Psycho felt cheap, almost like a TV episode.
Which is kind of how he ended up making it, wasn't it? With his TV crew.
Exactly. To keep costs down, Paramount flat out refused to finance it or distribute it. Nothing.
Wow. So that forced his hand.
Big time. It led to this legendary gamble. Him and his lawyer, Lou Michael Stuhlbarg, plays him in the movie.
Right. They decided, what? We'll just pay for it ourselves.
Pretty much. Self-financed the entire thing. And not with spare cash. He risked everything.
The film shows him putting his house up.
Yeah, literally used his Beverly Hills home as collateral. Just think about that.
That's insane. The most famous director in the world betting his actual house.
On a film his studio called Garbage, it shows incredible, maybe terrifying conviction. He knew he had something, even if they all thought he was losing it.
So the money part was chaos. But the film Hitchcock shows it wasn't just financial stress, right? There was inner turmoil, too.
Oh, loads of it. Beyond the money, there were the censors, constantly battling them.
About the shower scene, nudity, violence.
Everything. How much could you even suggest? It was a constant fight, pushing those boundaries of what was acceptable on screen in America then.
And the script issues, his health.
Yeah.
It all weighs on Alma, his wife.
Tremendously. And then there's that weird element in the film.
The Ed Gein thing.
Yeah.
Where Hitch starts talking to him.
Yeah. It's this strange, surreal touch, like Gein's spirit is haunting him.
A metaphor for the darkness he's digging into.
I think so. It shows the pressure, the fear maybe that this project, this obsession could actually swallow him whole, the doubt behind the confident facade.
And Anthony Hopkins just nails that, doesn't he, that fear?
He really does. It's great casting, especially since, he'd already played Hannibal Lecter, another Gein-inspired character.
His transformation is amazing, the look and everything. But it's more than just imitation.
Totally. He shows Hitch as constantly on edge, not the calm maestro, but this guy terrified of failure, of losing it all. Hopkins brings that vulnerability, makes him feel surprisingly kind of human under all those prosthetics.
But like you said, he wasn't doing this alone. Alma Reville, Helen Mirren's character, becomes so central.
Absolutely critical. She gave him, as the source said, that absolute backing, but she was so much more than just supportive.
She had her own film background, right? Before him, even.
Oh, yeah. A serious professional. Started way back in the British film industry. Editor, script supervisor, writer. She knew the ropes inside out.
So not just the wife. A collaborator.
His most trusted collaborator, arguably. She had a sharp eye for editing, for story. The film shows her stepping in, fixing things, basically saving his bacon sometimes.
But historically, her work got overlooked.
Massively. Especially when he hit peak fame, she got framed as the supportive, maybe long-suffering wife. Her own talent was kind of erased from the public story.
You feel that tension in the movie, that feeling of being sidelined.
Yeah, and there's that scene, the red swimming costume scene. It's brilliant.
Oh, right, where she buys the suit and goes swimming?
Yeah, and the camera just focuses on that bright red underwater it feels. Hitchcockian.
Yeah.
The music, the visuals, it creates this intense unease.
Like her own inner feelings are being shown using his techniques.
Exactly. It visually connects her turmoil to his style. Like, she understands his language, but is also kind of trapped by it.
And speaking of his style and maybe his issues, the film draws some pretty direct lines between Hitchcock's own quirks and Norman Bates, doesn't it?
It really goes there. It hints strongly at those voyeuristic tendencies people suspected him of.
Doesn't pull punches.
Not at all. There's that scene, I mean, it's pretty shocking, where they show him having a hole drilled in his office wall.
To spy on his actress in her dressing room.
Yeah. It's disturbing. Shows that need for control, for watching unseen.
And then, boom, cut to the Psycho set.
And there's Norman Bates, with his own little peephole in the motel office wall spying on Marion Crane.
So the movie's basically saying, look, some of Norman Bates came straight from the director himself.
That's the clear implication. The voyeurism, the control, maybe even some of the isolation. It's suggesting art imitating the artist's darker side.
Makes you think. But shifting gears slightly, the parts of the film showing him actually directing are maybe the most fun.
Well, definitely the best scenes. You really feel like you're there on set.
And you see his methods. Not always nice methods.
No. He could be demanding, manipulative. The film shows him using different tactics, intimidation for one actor, maybe stoking anxiety in another, just to get that perfect reaction, that fear he wanted on camera.
The suspense was real, on set.
It seems like it. And the way they recreate the shower scene.
With Scarlett Johansson as Janet Leigh.
Yeah, seeing it from behind the camera, seeing the mechanics of it all, the quick cuts, the angles.
It almost demystifies the horror, but makes you appreciate the sheer technical skill even more.
Totally. And the supporting cast helps sell those moments. Toni Collette is great as the assistant dealing with all this.
And there was that interesting dynamic with Scarlett Johansson and Jessica Biel.
Right. Biel plays Vera Miles. Johansson is Janet Leigh, the current starlet, the new focus of his attention.
And Vera Miles is kind of last year's model.
Sort of feels that way in the film, yeah. Like, the previous Hitchcock blonde being somewhat discarded, it hints at that colder, maybe more calculating side of him, part of the mythology, maybe.
Now, thinking about the film Hitchcock itself, the director, Satya Gervasi, made some very specific stylistic choices.
He really leaned into the Hitchcock vibe, didn't he?
Yeah, the whole film feels like it's made in a Hitchcock style,
Yeah.
which is kind of meta.
Very meta, like those bookends, the monologue straight to camera.
Just like the Alfred Hitchcock Presents TV show.
Exactly. And you got to mention Danny Elfman's score.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't trying to be Bernard Herrmann, but it definitely captured that mood, right?
Perfectly. That dark, driving intensity. A real mood enhancer, as the review put it.
Okay, so stylistically, it's a tribute. But the big question with any biopic, was it accurate? Did this stuff actually happen?
Ah, yeah. That's where the film got hammered by critics.
For factual errors.
Lots of them. Compressing timelines, inventing scenes, changing details for dramatic effect. The critics really beat on it for not being historically precise.
So if it's playing fast and loose with the facts, what's the point? Why defend it?
Well, the argument is that the inaccuracy is kind of the point.
How so?
Because Hitchcock himself was the master of manipulating his own story. He spent his whole career mixing truths, half-truths, maybe outright fibs.
To create that master of suspense persona.
Exactly. He curated his own myth. So the film is arguing, hey, we're just treating his life story the way he treated his public image as a narrative to be shaped for effect.
That's quite cheeky. It's like the film's winking at you.
It is. It's mischievous. It's not pretending to be a documentary. It's an interpretation playing Hitchcock's game with his own life.
So maybe not a flawless masterpiece, the film Hitchcock, but definitely an enjoyable kind of sly take on this giant figure.
I think so. And bringing it back to you, listening, the big takeaway here is just the sheer cost, the gamble involved in creative breakthroughs.
Yeah, even the biggest names, the most confident legends, sometimes have to bet the farm, literally bet their house.
And they often depend completely on partners, like Alma Reville, whose work gets hidden behind the spotlight on the genius. Her professional contribution was immense, but history tends to forget that.
That reliance on her, risking everything together,
Yeah.
it really grounds the story.
Mm-hmm.
Makes the triumph of Psycho feel earned, not inevitable.
For sure. Which leaves us with one final thought for you to mull over.
Okay.
If Hitchcock himself was so willing to blur the lines between the man and the myth his whole life, and this film about him does the same thing, how much of the Hitchcock we think we know today is the real person?
And how much is just the incredibly well-constructed, enduring legend he built himself?
Exactly. Where does the man end and the myth begin? Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.